sex life, as we've seen this last week. Is this a good idea? Is it a precedent we want to set? Congressman Sean Patrick Maloney is a Democrat representing New York, and he joins us tonight. Congressman, thanks for coming on.
My pleasure.
Would you be comfortable with a permanent investigation into your life and dealings?
No.
So, look, I understand that people don't like Trump and they object to the way he conducts his business and object to the ideas that undergird his decisions. I get it. But this is not the way to deal with it, is it?
Well, if you're referring to the investigation that relates to the president's sex life, don't care about that.
But that's what the investigation has become. So, look, I think you could make a case, and I agreed with you to this extent, if there's evidence that a political figure who became president colluded with the foreign government, big deal. Like to know if that's true. Maybe
right.
it's true.
And luckily, we have a way to do that, which is to allow Bob Mueller to do his job.
Okay. But the question is, what job is he doing? And based on the behavior we've seen in the last week, this is an argument, not an argument against the Mueller investigation. It's an argument against what the investigation apparently has become.
Well, luckily, and I think wisely, the special counsel handed that investigation off to someone else. So his focus remains on what he was charged to do.
So I think this would fall into the distinction without a difference category.
Well, check it out. We're in less than a year on this thing. We've got 22 indictments, 100 felonies, 13 Russians, by the way, and 5 guilty pleas. That's a pretty good day's work, and I think we should let him finish his job.
Are all guilty pleas the same? Is pleading guilty to lying to a federal agent the same as pleading guilty to colluding with a foreign government? Or are they in totally different universes?
Of course not, but some of those may actually be going lightly on these guys to get their cooperation. Time will tell. But I think it's absolutely fair to say this special counsel ought to deliver or wind up his work. I don't want it to go on forever. Benghazi took 2 years. I think that's way too long. But I'll tell you what, indicting 13 Russians for interfering with the election is exactly what he was charged to do. I'm glad they were indicted. I hope you are.
Whatever,
and I'd like to find out.
I mean, yeah, I guess I'm
whatever.
glad. I mean, no, whatever. I mean, let's be totally real.
Well,
First of all, none of these people are going to trial. Second, it's not even clear to me what they did that threatened our democracy. But that's not the point. The point is that we saw this week federal agents basically break into the office of the president's lawyer in search of facts about the Access Hollywood tape and a porn star.
Right. I think when you say break in, you mean execute a legal warrant.
They came in by force. I mean, they weren't welcome, and
that's what people do when they execute a search warrant.
But is it? I'm aware
that's
of
called
that.
Due process, by the way.
I'm aware of that, but is it a good thing? I mean, so I just want a Democrat to say,
hey,
I'm not for this.
Let me make it easy on you. I don't care about the president's sex life. You can put me on record as not wanting to know at all about Donald Trump's sex life.
It's not whether you care about his sex life. It's whether you're comfortable with federal agents executing search warrants in order to learn more about his sex life. Are you comfortable with that?
I don't care about Stormy Daniels. I don't care about a porn star trying to make money. I don't care about cable news trying to get ratings on it. I do care about, and you should care, about Russians interfering with our election. Okay, and I think it is really important to point out that unlike Ken Starr, who made his whole investigation about sex, Bob Mueller has handed that off to a Trump appointee.
But it doesn't mean
and we'll let that go where it wants.
It doesn't mean anything.
It means something very important.
No, again, it's a distinction without a difference, but I just want to press you on
let me ask you
whether you're specifically comfortable with the FBI going in with a warrant into the president's lawyer's office in search of materials related to a sex life. Are you comfortable with that?
What I've said several times is I don't care about that.
No, but that's not an answer to the question. Are you comfortable with what the FBI just did?
I hope you and I both agree that if in the course of the Mueller investigation he finds evidence of other crimes unrelated to his investigation, that it would be wrong to ignore them. And so I think the proper thing to do is to hand it off to someone else. In this case, a Trump appointee. But it is not fair to say that's a distinction without a difference. That's staying focused.
Right. I'm not going to ask you the same question for the 5th time because you're not going to answer it. I just want you to say
I think I'm agreeing with you.
This is not what we were looking for when we appointed a special counsel. This actually looks very much like what Democrats complained about
Tucker,
20 years ago with good cause.
If you can't understand that Bob Mueller faced a choice, do it himself, hand it off to somebody else, or ignore it. I think it would have been wrong to do it himself. I think it would have been wrong to ignore it. He handed off somebody else.
But what is it? What do you imagine? Hold on. What do you imagine the crime would be? I'm watching liberals who for generations have defended civil liberties look into the camera and say a payoff to a porn star is a violation of campaign finance law.
Right. I don't care about that.
That's insane.
I don't care.
So what would be the crime, the potential crime?
I just told you I don't care.
No, but why wouldn't you care about what the FBI is doing to someone's personal lawyer? You should care about that. You're a lawmaker.
Look, I'm focused on what Robert Mueller is charged to do, and that is to tell us whether the Russians interfered with our election. We know they did, and whether anybody in this administration was playing footsie with them. I'm glad he's staying focused on that. You should be too. Let me answer your question. I think it is disturbing when the federal government is going into somebody's sex life. But if he has evidence of crimes, then it would be wrong to ignore them, and he has handed them off to a separate office. What's wrong
I just want to get you to concede you were uncomfortable with it.
Should he ignore them?
So why? I mean, it depends what the crime is.
Well, that's exactly right.
We sent Martha Stewart to prison for lying to a federal investigator about an investigation into something completely different.
So
that's technically a crime. It's wrong to do that.
So Tucker, all I'm saying is why don't we let these folks do their job?
We are letting them do their job. You're not calling for me for. I'm not calling for anyone to stop. Then how about this?
Well, so then you are comfortable with them investigating Michael Cohen?
What I'm comfortable with, because I'm wondering if you
let them do their job. I think anytime you're
why not have this? Why not have, just so that partisanship doesn't taint this process or these investigations in any way, let's have a permanent Office of Special Counsel who floats above the justice system, again, on a permanent basis with no timetable and no budget limit, who can investigate every sitting lawmaker or executive. Why not do that?
Yeah, terrible idea. But in this case...
Why? Oh, because it's not against Trump.
No, but in this case, you've got a bunch of Republican senators as recently as today.
You know what? Guess who cares what Republican senators think?
Right.
Not me.
Right, but you just asked...
I'm asking you a question about principle.
Excuse me. You just asked for bipartisanship. You've got a bunch of conservative Republican senators. Senator Grassley, Senator Tillis,
I don't care what
Senator
they
Graham.
think. I mean, I literally couldn't be less interested. I want to know what you think.
My point is that you asked for a bipartisan process. You're getting one. And what they're saying is, let this guy, Bob Mueller, do his job.
But why not let him continue to do his job into the next administration? And by the way, focus his attention on Congress. You have lawmakers like yourself. Who knows what you guys are doing? Why don't we have someone independent of DOJ looking into your activities? What's wrong with that? If you're not guilty, why would you worry?
Right, Tucker. What I said is that there should be. Look, I think you'd see a lot of investigations of members of Congress and a bunch of people getting whacked, and that's good. Good. We got way too much dead wood in Congress, and we got a bunch of corrupt people. I'm glad they're going. Amen. But I'll tell you what, and I live under the same scrutiny every day. But let me tell you something. I think you're right that you shouldn't have an open-ended independent counsel investigations. I'm trying to agree with you. But when you've got credible evidence of serious wrongdoing, 22 indictments, 13 Russians, 100 felonies, Tucker, and you have a bipartisan consensus on letting this investigation simply do its work.
Yeah, look, I'm with it. I just wanted to let's roll it up and get to the business of running the country.
Fair enough.
Thank you, Congressman.
It's less than a year, and he's got a bunch of indictments, and we should finish it.
Yeah, really. I feel a lot safer now that Paul Manafort's in jail. Thank you very much
My
for joining us tonight. Mark Stein is an author and columnist, and he joins